you don't want to be a burden on anyone else. As a bloke, as a masculine bloke, you're told masculinity is about being independent, being resilient. Every man is an island. Like you shouldn't rely on anyone else. Like getting outside help shows you're weak. And even though I never thought of myself as macho, and therefore, brushed off a lot of the toxic masculinity stuff, you start to realize just how kind of profound that is, really. So a lot of men are struggling, and we need to normalize speaking about this, because often I think we think of mental health as actually just like this mental illness, as like this quite extreme thing, and we kind of think, okay, people are normal or they're really struggling, and we kind of forget that actually most people are in this vast in between, and it's okay to kind of mention these things, and it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to accept that all different types of people are struggling, young, old, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different ages, and obviously different genders as well. And I think one of the things that I really struggled with was you learn the theory of CBT, the theoretical, these are my distortions, these are my cues, these are my consequences, these are the thought responses. But then you're left in the wilderness yet again, because you end that session and then you're like, okay, well, how does that impact on my actual urge in the moment, which is so strong and just kind of wants to take over my life? I don't binge eat anymore, but I still have to keep tackling the distortions underneath. And I've got a long way to go myself in terms of especially some of the things around body image, especially some of the things around kind of where you are drawn to, what the urges you have when you're stressed or something like that, when you're lonely or bored. I still have some of the kind of underlying things, and so I myself have a lot of work to go. And this is why I call it this kind of spectrum, because at my worst I was, say, on this side, then within 6 months I was very much like coping and stable and whatever, but actually there's just so much further you can do, and I want to keep moving this way. And I think that's something that a lot of the other fellas kind of really resonate with. It's not just about just getting by every day. No, it's actually self-actualization. It's constantly trying to be more in control, or more at peace, I guess, with yourself, more conscious, doing actually what you want to do. And that means you're actually in position. A lot of the guys say this. They're in a position to help the other fellas, help other people around them. And that's constantly my kind of driver that way. We're constantly fighting bullshit out there. There's just so many people that want to push a new thing or market their own thing, and so little of it is kind of evidence-based and actually the most valuable thing. And that's I'm just completely fed up of bullshit dietary stuff to patch the fundamentally psychological that needs psychological work. I'm just kind of fed up of that, really. And so that's kind of one of the big drivers with Fella. We want to be the place, where people trust. They can just go there and actually just, find out the truth, find it simply, find out what to do practically without any of this bullshit anymore. I've always felt pretty alienated somewhat from the self-compassion, self-care movement, because I was like, well, does it mean I can't do well? Does it mean I can't push myself? Does it mean I can't kind of be disciplined in some ways? And I'm still personally tussling with that myself. I continuously struggle with how independent should I be? And almost I still see them as synonymous, resilient and independent. And actually I need to do a lot more work to actually break those apart and say, well, it's okay to be vulnerable. And I still struggle to do that. I am better at now saying it, but I still struggle to do it.